If you've caught a vision of yourself or your life in a different way, through a different lens, this segment is going to be perfect for you because we're going to talk about how we go from a vision in our mind to bringing it to life around us, to really then bring the value, the worth, the impact, the light that we were designed to bring to this world. So thank you for stopping by. Welcome to the Shift Speed Shop and our Ignition series. If you like this content, please let people know, share it, hit subscribe on my YouTube channel. Let's get the word out there. But friends, go ahead, sit back and enjoy this conversation. Leave me some comments. Let me know your feedback. We'd love to see how we keep digging together. Cheers. Hey friends, Mike Mooney here. Welcome back to the Shift Speed Shop. If it's your first time here, welcome in. This is our place where we build, fix, restore, and innovate high-performance vehicles. And guess what? We're all high-performance vehicles. That's right. We were all designed to be high-performance vehicles. And we need a place where we can go and get tuned up. We need a place where we can go and build, fix, restore, and innovate ourselves on a variety of levels. So here we are. Are you ready to roll your sleeves up? Well, listen, today's conversation and what I want to share with you, maybe get you thinking and marinating in your mind, right, is the power and fear of first gear. The power and fear of first gear. So maybe you're at a point right now as we're working through this pandemic where you've caught a vision for yourself, for your life. You've seen something that could be different for you. Maybe it's in your career, maybe it's just in your personal life, maybe it's for your family, but you've caught a vision of something that could be different. And this is opportunity. Visions are opportunity. And what we have to realize, friends, is that everything in this world is created twice. I'll say it again, because that would be saying it twice, right? Pick that up. Everything in this world is created twice. First, in our mind, in our imagination, in a vision. And then secondly, it's bringing that vision to life. It's the work that it then takes to take what we saw in our mind of what we could do, what we could be, what we could achieve, the impact that we could have on each other or the world around us, the influence we could create, the goodness, the light that we can shine. It's bringing that then to life where people get hung up, where people get stuck, where people say, no, it's probably not for me. And when I think about it for myself, I go back to a time, and maybe some of you out there can relate to this. I go back to a time when I was being taught how to drive a stick shift, a manual transmission, right? And for those of you who haven't, that's the car that you have to literally like move the gear shifter through, and you have the clutch, and you've got to do all that work. Well, if you've been there like I was, I guarantee that the first time in that parking lot or that empty parking lot or wherever you did it, there was a lot of bucking going on, right? It was an absolutely new experience. You had to figure out, okay, I've got the clutch in, I'm in first gear, I'm feathering that gas pedal, I'm letting that clutch out, I'm trying to find the balance of when it's grabbing and going, and then the car is bucking, right? And I had a Mustang, so this Mustang was bucking across the parking lot, and it was embarrassing. It was it was exhausting emotionally, and that was just for my dad, who was in the passenger seat. I mean, for me, I was scared. I felt I was being judged. I kept asking myself, why am I doing this? I can't do this. What made me think that I could do this and drive this stick shift? I have no business doing this. Why don't I just get an automatic? I mean, Dad, don't they make cars with automatic transmissions now? I think they do. Why don't you just let me drive one of those? It'd be a lot easier than trying to get out of first gear as this car is bucking and jerking along. But isn't that similar to when we're trying something new? When we're stepping into a place that's unknown, unfamiliar, where we're challenged, we're getting out of a comfort zone? It really is. And those phrases and sayings that I just let out, that I'm not good enough. Why did I think I could do this? Who am I to do this? Just forget it. Those also play through our minds. And those phrases, we have to understand, were designed intentionally and specifically to keep us in our comfort zone, to keep us in a place where we would never expand and never become the high performance vehicles that we were designed to be. So if we were to take a step back, and this is what I've experienced and what I've put into practice in my life, is to realize that first and foremost, those statements are all fear-based. They're all fear-based. It's about, I don't want to be judged. I don't want to fail. I don't know what's on the other side. But if we take that step and step into it and realize that fear is just an emotion, it's not a state of being. And that's the challenge. We often let fear become a state of being, which then keeps us in a very contained and small life. Friends, I'm going to say it again. We weren't built, designed, or put here to be contained and live a small life. We're here to hit those RPMs, to get that engine up and going, to get out of first gear. And that's the biggest challenge when we're trying to get going. So for me, personally, I found this, and here's a strategy you can use to help yourself get out of first gear. And that's simply sit there and go, okay, where is this fear coming from? What is the root of this? Is it truly because I'm not good enough? I don't know. I can't name one thing that I started and tried the first time that I was fantastic, that I was stellar, that I had a level of expertise and execution that would be world-class or considered successful. If you have, kudos to you. But I think if you're like the majority of us humans, you had to work at it. You had to work at it. So what I've done is I try to understand where is the root of this and realize that, hey, it's not true. If I really want to bring this to life, then there's a way for me to do it. So how do I break it down? How do I make it more manageable? I used to use this phrase with my kids when they were working on big projects. I would say, hey, gang, how does the mouse eat the elephant? It's one bite at a time. You see, sometimes when we look at the finished product and we focus on this grandiose finished product, or maybe it's a new job, maybe it is something, a product that you're bringing to life, we think about that end product, but that seems so unattainable right now because the reality is we don't have the skill, we don't have the relationships, we don't have the knowledge just yet to finish that. We have just enough to get out of first gear, And do you remember what that felt like? When you got out of first gear the first time and you're cruising, you're like, yeah, I did it. And then you're like, oh crap, now what? I got to go to second gear. Okay, let me go to second gear. And I go to second gear and we're going and I'm bucking a little bit, but I'm going and I've got momentum. I've got momentum now to get to third gear, to get to fourth gear. But I never would have been able to get there if I hadn't fought through slipping that clutch and getting out of first. So getting out of first for me, my experience with this on many levels, when I pivoted out of professional motorsports after 25 years and stepped into a place or out of a place where all of my relational equity was, and my knowledge and skills were all in this one industry. And I step out into professional speaking and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm literally starting from first gear again. And when I wrote my book, Reputation Shift, I looked at that and said, my gosh, I can't write a book. I said, you're right, man. You can't write a book, but can you write a chapter? Could you write a page? Could you write a sentence? You see, breaking it down into small pieces. So I decided that I was going to get up at 4:45 in the morning every day, and I would write from 5 a.m. to 6:15 a.m. Just an hour and 15 minutes, because at 6:15 is when we get the kids up. But I did that 7 days a week for 7 months. Now, there's no magic, there's no ego in that. I'm just trying to share that if I thought of, again, I can't write a book, but I could write a sentence, I can write a page, and that's going to build over time into chapters. And the chapters over time will become the book that I didn't think I could actually do, but I could. Because I got out of first gear. I realized the fear I had in writing it was I was going to be judged, that it wouldn't be good enough. But you know what? I don't know that to be true. I'm only saying that in my own mind. Now, fortunately, my book has gotten great feedback from people. It's helped scores of people, leaders, and I'm very fortunate and I'm grateful for that. But I would never have brought it to life if I didn't recognize the power and fear of first gear. And that's my thought for you. I'd love for you to really start thinking about if you are looking at that vision. Don't let it go away. There's a reason it was planted there. You're a high performance vehicle. Let's think about how do you break it down into smaller pieces that you'll bring it to life over time. And recognize that as you're moving through the process, the right people are going to show up. The skills are going to come to you. The work is going to pay off. But it's not going to be instant gratification. It's not an automatic transmission car that you set it, forget it, kick it on cruise control. That's not what life's all about, friends. If you want to get into the game, you got to get out of first gear. So that's my encouragement to you. All right. I believe it. Keep digging. I know your best is yet to come. And thanks for stopping by the Shift Speed Shop. Until next time, cheers, everyone. Keep digging.